So there are some things that I don't talk about here on this YouTube channel, only because it's on a topic where I feel like my system for doing something is overly simple. However, I saw in a recent comment someone asked how I keep my seeds organized, and since this is the time of year where a lot of us are receiving seed orders in the mail, I thought now would be as good as time as any to share what I do. I will say that there are a lot of different ways to store seeds. And when it comes down to it, there's not so much of a right way to do it as there is a right way for you based on how you like to work and stay organized. So if you're interested in seeing what works best for me, let's get to it. Now it's important for you to know that when I talk about seed storage and organization, I do my best to not go overboard when buying seeds. I do buy all the seeds that I need for the upcoming year, all together, usually at the start of the year, but I really don't buy more seeds than I'm going to need. And so I typically don't store my seeds for more than a year or two at most. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with storing your seeds for longer. You know, some seed varieties, if stored properly, they can have great germination for years to come. But for me, I much prefer to focus on having enough seed on hand for just 1 year at a time. Now, I will clarify here, this doesn't mean that I don't buy more seeds than I anticipate needing to plant. You know, as I've shared in a number of previous videos, I'm a firm believer in sowing more seeds than I'm actually going to need in my garden. You know, that way, even if I lose seeds due to poor germination or my seedlings die due to transplant shock or whatever, you know, I'm still left with enough seedlings to fill whatever size bed I'm trying to fill. So I hope that makes sense with my seed buying strategy. So when it comes to storing seeds, there's a lot of things that I look for. The first thing I prefer is a system where I can keep my seeds in their original packets. Even though I'm growing many of the same flower varieties year after year, and I'm well acquainted with the specific needs of each individual flower, sometimes I forget. You know, there's a lot of useful information on the back of most seed packets, and I find it handy to be able to reference that information if I need a quick refresher. For this reason, I usually refrain from using any sort of system where I have to pour my seeds into a separate organizer. I know some growers like to use a hardware box sort of organizer that has small compartments for individual seed varieties, but that's never been my cup of tea. Another thing that I look for in a seed organizer is I want my seed packets to be able to be stored upright. This is really just so that my seeds aren't spilling all over the place. You know, even though most seed packets have some sort of adhesive on them so that they can reseal if you don't plant all the seeds in them, I found that these don't always stay shut, and so I just prefer an upright system. Also, having my seeds upright is really what helps me meet my third requirement for seed storage. That is, I have to be able to see my entire seed collection with just a quick glance. Here's the thing, the biggest thing for me is that for my own peace of mind, my seed storage has to be simple. I know plenty of growers that really enjoy using like those snapping photo containers, but I know myself, and I'm not someone who wants to snap open a million containers when I'm looking for the seeds that I need. I also tend to be an out of sight, out of mind type person. And if I don't see that I have something that I need, I'm just going to order another packet of it, and then I'd probably be annoyed once I realize that I have more seeds than what I actually require. And so the one organizer that sort of checks all those boxes that I've just mentioned is none other than this simple drawer organizer that I get off of Amazon. So what I end up doing is at the start of the season, I just check whatever seed that I have left over from last year. And then I order everything that I think that I'm going to need for the year ahead. And then once my seeds arrive, I like to group everything, you know, according to my planting schedule. So for instance, in this first compartment here, some of my seeds that I'm going to grow first are things like pansies and stock and some great spring flowers. And so that's why these two varieties are grouped together up here. And I sort of just keep going down the line, you know, from my early spring crops to the later warm season stuff. I really like having a seed storage that sort of mimics my seed calendar. You know, having these sort of groupings means that I'm less likely to forget to seed a particular variety. It allows me to sort of glance ahead. You know, I can easily see if I don't have enough of something that I know that I'm going to need in the near future, and I can order it if I need to. There are a few downsides to this method that are worth mentioning. For one, there's obviously no lid or top on this container. This is something that doesn't travel well. Now, for me, I start all of my seeds ahead of time in seed trays, so my seed packets don't travel out to the garden with me. So for how I like to grow flowers, it's fine that this container, just sort of sits on one of my shelves in my office. The other downside is the small size of some of these compartments. This isn't something that would work well if you have maybe larger seeds or bulky seed packets. So when we're planting our fall pumpkin patch, those bulky seeds, they definitely don't fit within this container here. I unfortunately don't have any pumpkin seeds on hand at the moment, but for those seeds, I simply line those up, kind of similar the same way I do with these packets, much in the same order that I want to plant them, but I just put them inside an old leftover box. They stand up just like these smaller seed packets, and I can easily see what I have available to plant. It's not super high tech, but then I can take this box, I can bring it out to the field with me as I'm planting. This box will usually rest at my feet in the tractor, and I just have to grab whichever seed packet is in front as I run out of seed and need to fit more into our planter. So there you have it, my seed storing and organization system. Is it simple? Yes, for sure. But is it effective? Well, for me, yes it is. You may have to try out a few different methods to see what works best for you, but I hope this video gave you a few ideas to do just that. Now, if you guys have more questions related to how we do things here at Two Sisters Flower Farm, I encourage you to leave them in the comments below. I enjoy creating content that is useful for you, so you never know when I'm going to take one of your ideas and turn it into our next video. Now, if I haven't said it already, I will link this exact organizer in the comments below, so if you're interested in something like this, look for it down there. Now, let me just say thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you hanging out with me here. Before you go, if you could give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.